Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie, setting up and getting ready to chat with you all for today's Tiny Tip Tuesday. So today I've showed this project before, but I want to show it again, and hopefully you guys will be able to follow this along maybe a little bit better, because I've kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit. So what I'm going to show you is how to make this fun pumpkin for your table, and it's very easy to put away and store. I have an old one that I did that I used. It's not spun out, but you can actually squeeze it all the way down. Might take you a minute. This one's done with cardstock, but it's like a place setting. So you spin it out, make it look more like this. This one is smaller, thinner pieces, but you get the idea. Or you could just set them out on your table. If you want it thicker, this has 10 loops in it. You can put in maybe 12, and then maybe you'll have less open spaces. I am doing mine. The one I'm showing you is, I think I told you guys, I am going Saturday. Let me adjust this so I have a little more room. Sorry, you guys. I can see that it's crooked because my stripes are crooked, but that's okay. I'm actually leaving Friday, coming home Sunday to the Stampin' Up event. I'm going to the one in Indianapolis, and I'm really excited about it because Friday night, leaders are invited to something called Center Stage, where we're going to get the new, everybody's going to end up with this, but the leaders get their January mini catalog and the celebration catalog on Friday night, plus all of our goodies and stuff, our swag that comes with it. And we're going to have a nice little brunch and mingle, kind of, not brunch because it's in the evening, so whatever that is, a buffet, I guess. So I'm really excited about that. But and then Saturday all day will be with all demonstrators that are going to Indy. They're all over the place. I think the big one, I believe, is in Vienna, like Vienna, Austria. But don't hold me to that because we're international now, so I don't know. But anyway, so this is, I'm doing cards as my swap, where we swap ideas. But then I started thinking, although this idea has been around for a long time, there may be some demonstrators who've never seen it. So I've decided to do a 3D swap of these adorable little pumpkins. So I am going to show you how I put those together. So I started out with strips of Designer Series paper. This is from, what is it called, guys? Hang on. It's this huge pack, Gingham Cottage, and it's got all the different colors of ginghams. Love it. Love it. But I thought these orange ones are perfect. Now, I didn't want to use this side because it's a little Halloween-y. So, I'm using this side. And you can see I have punched a hole in one side so far. I don't know why I only did one side when I know I have to do both. But I'm going to get you guys started. So, I made one hole. And then I just drew a circle. Grabbed an old hole punch. I think Stampin' Up! Used to sell this, but this one happens to be by Fiskars, but it's the old school loose leaf binder. Hi, Susan. So you can probably find these almost anywhere. Yes, I'm sure we have a die that would work, but really, sometimes you just want to punch. So now I've done them all on one side, and I'm sorry that I did not do them all on both sides, so you guys wouldn't have to watch me, but now you're going to have to watch me. So all I did was flip that over, and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to use this same one to make circles. I'm going to do 2 at a time because that's all my poor hand can punch, is 2 at a time. And go like that. So I have them ready to punch. And again, I apologize, but now you guys get the idea. So these strips are, and I can't remember if I said this, they are 6 inches by 3/4 of an inch. You can make them fatter or thinner, depending on what it is you want to do with your pumpkins, because it is totally, you can make them tall and thin. I will tell you that when they're squatty like this, they tend to look a little better, although I have made some tall ones, and some of the skinny ones, like even that one that I showed you, wherever I put this one, I squished it a little too much. So, and of course I made it years ago, and so it's almost a little too squatty. So play with it, and you'll see how we get that design in just a minute. So, all right, so here we go. Now this one I need to have on there too, so I'm gonna just tuck it behind. Now I can go through. If you have stronger hands, you can do more than 2 at a time, and we'll watch the circles fly and be all over the place. So it's voting day. I hope y'all are getting out there, letting your voice be heard. There are so many important things. My only recommendation would be to look up the full proposal. Like here in Michigan, we have, I think 3 or 4. I'm trying to remember now. I voted. I just don't remember. There were a couple of millagey things and some proposals. Obviously, everybody's got the abortion bill on theirs. So no matter what side you're on, let's use that one as an example. And I will not give you my opinion, although I definitely have one. Please read it, because they are, unfortunately, this is my little political moment, and I don't normally like to do that, but yeah, we have to read the whole ballot, not that little synopsis. Oh my gosh, that's on your ballot. You kind of need to read the whole thing, because they're not necessarily what they say on all those political commercials. And let's face it, if you watch them, one side says this and one side says that. So that's my little political thing. Read. Okay, so now we're also going to use the Parakeet Party metallic woven ribbon. And the reason I'm using this is because it's fairly thin. You'll see on this one, I use linen thread. So that would work too. It just works better with a thinner thread than a wider thread. Okay. So I have pulled off a piece here. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. I have punched out with an old punch that's dying quickly 2 3 3/4 inch punches and 1 1-inch punch. And then I have die cut this beautiful little leaf from the aspen tree dies, which you guys have seen me use several times. It's bundled with the Perched in a Tree, and it's the one that comes with that awesome oval tree background. Such a cool, these dies alone. The only thing, if you don't buy the stamp set, is you'll have to color your own bird, because it's made to punch out the bird. But, oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, okay. Now, here's where you're going to get a little bit tricky. If you have a skill and you can use a thinner hole punch, then by all means do it. Did I grab a thinner one? I did. Ha. So I have one that's a little smidgen smaller than the original punch, because we definitely want this one big enough to flow. And in the 3/4 inch one, I am going to punch 2 holes. I don't want them too close together. Okay, they kind of look like a button. And yes, if you have old buttons, that would actually work really, really well. But I just wanted to show you that you can do it with cardstock. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day while I'm punching away here. Now, because this is paper, I don't want it to tear. So this is what I was punching my holes out with. And I am going to just, I like to use up my scraps, right? Y'all know this. So I'm going to cut a little piece here and a little piece here. And then I'm going to grab my liquid glue. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. The sun is like pouring through my window, and I'm having a little trouble seeing my phone to see if I'm like to zoom and stuff, but it looks like I'm okay now. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to get the goobers off of my thing. I wonder if I got all of the green out. I think I've told you guys that. I've got green in there from a marker. Nope, it still has a slight bit. And I'm putting 2 little dots of this liquid glue. I don't want too much of it. So I'm actually going to dab this one. And then I am going to pick it up because it's going to have, I should be using my take your pick tool. I know. It has glue on it. And I am going to put it here. If you guys are seeing that well. And it's just a little reinforcement. And then I'm going to dab them so that they're not. And then I'll put this one on here. You could use 2 pieces of cardstock or, like I said, a button. I just don't want the thread to tear, if that makes sense. So that is for that one. And then get this end. I'm good with it fraying, but not right at the moment. So let me see if I can. Remember your mom taught you how to do this? Lick it and spin it. And then and then maybe you can get it through. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this through. Oh my gosh. Stay. Stay, stay, stay. I'm going to stick this through one side. And then this is the side you want it. You want to stick it through the side that does not have this extra piece to it, because that's your reinforcement. So you want it on this side. And then I'm going to stick it back through here. All right. And then I am going to pull this one, pull the long one kind of out of the way like that for just a minute. And stick this one back through that hole, if it will let me. Don't worry about like pulling the extra ribbon and stuff, because you're gonna do something with it anyway. Okay, so there's a method to my madness on this. It seems a little bit crazy, but now I'm gonna take and get this one that I pulled tight. That was just to get it out of my way. Now I'm gonna give myself a little bit of room there, so that I can tie a knot. So you can see, like I said, it can be a little bit, you don't have to do this. There's probably an easier way, but I really wanted to use this thread and I didn't want it to tear. So I'm just going to do on camera, which is kind of a joke, and I know you guys can't see anything, and I need to get my nails trimmed probably before I leave this weekend. Oy, oy, oy. Hang on a minute, you guys. I can do this. I can tie a knot. Darn it. Okay, you move out of my... Does anybody else have this issue when you're trying to tie a knot? I mean, I'm serious. If I were not on camera, it would not be an issue, but it's like me and video. So now you see I'm pulling the longer loop to get that one a little bit tighter as I go. Come on. There we go. So now I have a little knot there, right? And it's reinforced. So now I am going to take a piece of tear and tape, if I can find the end, and I am going to cover that. So I am going to take this ribbon, fold it back on itself, and just put a little bit of tear and tape. Now I don't really want the tear and tape in those holes, so I'm going to kind of do it off a little bit, and then I'm going to fold back any extra of that might be hanging off here. So lift that up, push that back, and then I'm just going to trim this off. Okay, it's okay that it's a little fuzzy there, because now what I'm going to do is take, there's a little bit of tear and tape on there, but I'm going to take some liquid glue where there is not tear and tape, and I'm going to glue this to this piece that is 1 inch, and that is going to be the base of my pumpkin. So that is on the bottom. Okay. So that holds all of that in place. All right. Are you with me so far? So now I've got this piece, which I will then run through all of these holes. Now, here's where you want to be sure you're putting the thread through this side, not this side, because this is going to be your outside, and you want it to go like so. All right. Then you're going to get all of these pieces lined up and put it through this side. Oops. And this, if you work with a longer piece of thread, you can trim it off, but I was being cheap, I guess. Then you decide how big, or, I mean, obviously that's too tight, but you decide where you want this to go. But before you do that, it does fray pretty quickly, which I'm going to want, because if you look, I have it frayed here, and I think it looks cool. Kind of like those not quite curly cues. So I am going to put it through again on the side that does not have the reinforcement. Oops. So I'm doing basically the exact same thing if it lets me stitch this through. I'm doing basically the same thing that I did on the other side, but this time it doesn't want me to do it. It's like watching paint dry, right? Sorry, you guys. But I didn't know how else, you know, I didn't want to pre-do this. I needed you guys to see what I was doing. So I'm pulling that through. And I'm going to pull it really tighter than I want it right now, just so I have some play room in this thread. And I'll put my fingers there. Hopefully it'll stay where I want it. No guarantees in life. Try to push that through again. Okay, so now I've got it through both sides. But again, I'm coming back up, just like I did before. So, if it will let me. You could keep trimming this off, but I'm telling you, you'll just end up with a shorter and shorter, because it frays really fast. So I'm going to stick that, through again. Okay, now this is where I decide how big I want it. So you got to go careful, because you do have the thread in there, and it is now double wound. So take your time, pull your little makeshift button to wherever you want it. All right. And then do the same thing where you give yourself extra thread here, and you guys get to watch me tie a knot again. Lucky girls, or guys. I don't, you know, there may be some guys watching. So, come on, fingers. Okay. I'm trying to keep it bent about where I want it, so that when I tie my knot, there we go. Now this time I'm not going to cut this off when I'm done, but I am going to add again a little piece of tear and tape to hold my knot end in place. Okay, just a little. You can see I just have a tiny little piece here, and I'm going to, this side looks like it has the most space, so I am going to put it right there. Again, not worrying if it goes over, because you definitely want to trim off anything that goes over, or else you're not going to be able to open up your pumpkin. Okay, so I definitely have stuff hanging over this time. Okay, and then fold those pieces back in. Then you're going to take your adorable little leaf or whatever it is that you've decided to use. And we're going to put some more adhesive on our faux button. And I like to have the fringy piece come off where the stem of the flower is. So that's going to be my guide as to where I place this. And I'm just going to hold it for a second and hope that no glue. I mean, honestly, if you glued it to this first piece of designer series paper, it would be fine. It's okay. So now I can trim off this. You can leave it longer if you want, but I'm just going to trim it off, and then I'm going to fray it. I mean, I've been trying to stop it from fraying all this time, but now it's okay that it does. And then all you have to do is start pulling it out, and you get this adorable pumpkin. So cute. I do these every year around this time because I think that they are a fun and easy way to decorate a place sitting or a table. And like I said, one year I put a tag on it with a name. So if you wanted to do little ones on a little spot, if you're doing the fancy dinner. When I was younger, I always wanted to do the fancy dinner with the special plates and the blah, blah, blah. I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever did. Isn't that funny? But I do like it. I think it's really cool. So I hope you guys liked this idea. I'm going to zoom back down a little bit to remind you that you can get all of the stuff you've seen here at my Stampin' Up! Website, MemoryINKers.com. You can email me at MemoryINKers@gmail.com. And if you do place an order, please use the hostess code SVHBXVNE. Also, I would love it if you would share this video. Oh, thanks, Laura. I'm glad that you like it. If you share this video, please remember to comment below so you can be in my drawing. Last month's winner won, I haven't mailed it yet, so I thought I put it here. Some really cool fancy gems. Not the pearls that I give away so often, although I love them, you know I love them. But some really fancy multicolored gems is what I gave away. I think I showed it on the last video. I can't remember now. But anyway, so I do give stuff away. I hope you will do that. Tomorrow I will have another item for your Wish List Wednesday. It's actually, I think, going to be a longer video because I have a project in mind. And I don't know how much of it I'm going to get done in advance because I have to finish making these little pumpkins for my swaps at the Stampin' Up! Event. This is how they're going to get them, by the way, with a picture that shows them this so that they can figure it out. So, all right. Have a fabulous day. I will see you tomorrow for Wish List Wednesday. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to go vote. Bye.